Wake up at dawn, coffee's brewing slow. Check the news, let the headlines flow. Black and white candles light up my screen. Patience is my saddle, keep my focus keen. 3/8 traps my rope, I'm ready to ride. Price pulls back soft, just a dip in the tide. Wait for the break, let it clear that line. Trade above the high and the profit's mine.
Good morning, fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, and this is the Morning Market Prep video for May 12th, 2025. Well, my goodness, everyone, we have a game changer here this morning. Complete surprise with the negotiations that happened with China in Switzerland this weekend. They came to at least a short-term deal to decreasing the reciprocal tariffs substantially, and a 90-day reprieve on those. Now, that gives them time to hopefully put together a final deal, which is probably going to have a lot of moving parts, and there'll be a lot of wild volatility around that as well. But this is a game changer and really changing the market conditions here this morning in a huge way. So bulls are celebrating in a big way this morning. Let's take a look at what happened overnight. Asian markets up across the board last night. We had Australia up just ever so slightly. The Nikkei was up 140 points. India up 915 points. Hong Kong surging 681 points. Shanghai was higher by 27 points. If we take a look at European markets this morning, they are also very bullish, with the DAX up 230 points, FTSE's up 33, and the CAC is up 110. If we take a look at U.S. futures this morning, they are soaring. Dow futures at the moment up 990 points. S&P 500 futures up 172 points, and the NASDAQ futures up a whopping 796 points this morning. So game changer move here, as one of the big dominoes in the trade tariff war situation coming to the table and coming to some kind of an agreement here. So pretty amazing. Let's take a look at what we have going on in other areas of the market. Well, first off, we've got oil prices surging here this morning. Let's take a look at Energy XLE. Big gap up here in the producers here this morning. Oil futures at the moment up $2.10 a barrel at $63.12 a barrel, showing lots and lots of strength there. We've got Brent crude up at $65.78 a barrel, showing strength in natural gas. Also pushing higher here this morning by about 3.5 cents. If we take a look at bonds this morning, bonds are moving sharply higher this morning, green across the board. We have 2-year bonds now at 4.01%. The 10-year bonds are coming up to 4.46%, and 30-year bonds at 4.87%, as rates are coming up on this news. If we take a look at the U.S. dollar, U.S. dollars having a great day today, really pushing to the upside. With the dollar futures up $1.50. So moving up pretty sharply here, and we might even be in a situation where if this continues, we're going to break out and hold above that downtrend here in the chart, breaking through resistance over here in the chart. So keep an eye on that as the dollar surges here this morning. If we take a look at cryptos here this morning, interesting this morning that we've got Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin has been running pretty hard here with the dollar going higher. That would have some negative effects maybe on the cryptocurrencies. But right now, Bitcoin this morning down $18 an ounce or $18 a coin at the moment, and just ticked down $25 a coin. Ether, on the other hand, is still up. Right now, it's up $43 a coin, and we're mostly green across the board here on those cryptos. When we take a look at precious metals, big decline here in gold this morning as the dollar strengthens. Gold moving sharply lower here this morning. Right now, down $132 an ounce. We've got silver down 72 cents an ounce here this morning, moving sharply lower. Copper happens to be just a little bit higher by about 0.5 of a cent. Platinum is lower by $26 an ounce, and palladium is lower by $16.5 an ounce this morning. So precious metals taking it a big slug to the chin here this morning, pushing substantially lower. So what does all that mean for the day? Well, how about we settle in? Let's buckle up. Let's get ready for the Monday edition of the Morning Market Prep video. Good morning once again, everyone, and thanks so much for being here. I very much appreciate it. Well, this is kind of a surprise today in the market. It's responding in a very, very bullish way here this morning. Right now, Dow futures are up 1,033 points on this news today, really stretching to the upside. Now, remember, this is just a 90-day reprieve as they try to work out a deal. I would assume there's going to be some hurdles to overcome in here that could create some additional volatility. But this being done, one of the major trade partners coming to some kind of an agreement here is going to be a game changer here for the market. Although we are very extended in the short term of the market, we're going to extend big time in this celebration here this morning and really push hard for the moment. I would also warn everyone that the possibility of the whipsaw here in the market is also very, very high with this kind of volatility. Everything's going to be repricing today and searching for those new price levels. So taking a look at the diamonds here, as you can see, we want to shake off that bias, but we want to look strictly at the price action of the charts. Obviously a huge surge up here, up over 1,000 points here in the diamonds, and we're going to be pushing this next significant level of price resistance in the chart. And a very extended move. We are essentially going parabolic in this rally to the upside. If the bulls can continue this push, I think there's every reason to believe they could, then we might break through this area of resistance up here, and then we start reaching out for these next areas up here in the chart, see if we can break through some of these next areas and push on higher here in the Dow. If, for example, the bears were to have something to say, well, what are you going to do? We're talking about massive point pullbacks possible if the bears do come up with anything to get angry about. And there's certainly a possibility that that could occur, but we'll want to be just really careful here and watch carefully because a zooming move like this makes it very, very difficult to protect yourself for a downside move. So keep that in mind. If we look at the technicals here in that chart, we are doing a one jump clear up here to test the 200-day moving average in the diamonds. Big move today. SPY, let's take a look at the SPY. SPY is going to gap substantially above the 200-day moving average here today in another parabolic stretch here. As you can see, the next level up here in the chart, we're attacking that right now in the pre-market. If we can push through this level in the chart, then I suspect we could go even higher and push straight up here to this level in the chart if those bulls really get cranking hard here in the market this morning. Just remember, once again, the pushback in here could be substantial if those bears were to really start to push, and it's hard to know where we would stop. You could have a really hard whipsaw here in the market today, so be prepared for that possibility. And technically a big reversal change here. What's interesting, I think, more than anything else, is that we've got our short-term moving averages really stretching now, crossing over the 50-day moving average, which gives us a little bit more price support or technical support underneath that price. If we look at our QQQ, my goodness, QQQ is having a whopper of a day, really pushing up here this morning, pushing into some of these next levels of resistance. We may have a little bit more to stretch to really test some of those areas of resistance in the upside. If they can push up through there, then we're going to be well on our way of coming back to these highs. So big game changer here in the market today. And if the bears have anything to say, well, once again, you're going to have to watch that pretty carefully, because the pullback this morning could be substantial if we decided to whipsaw here in the market. So look for some big point moves here today. If we take a look at moving averages here, well above our 200-day moving average, really stretching. Short-term moving averages coming up here in the market. Never would have expected that on the first talks with China this would occur. I don't think anybody was really expecting this, and a big surging move here. If we take a look at our IWM, zooming in the IWM as well, pushing up into this bigger downtrend here on IWM, a big stretch, big gapping move here in the chart. If we take a look at our moving averages, as you can see, pushing up, breaking through some resistance levels here and pushing up toward that 200-day moving average. So we're leaping well above the 500-day in here on that chart. If the bears have anything to say, well, I think there's that possibility also of some really big potential whipsaws here in this move. So watch that carefully. I would place that next target maybe up through here. We may pop straight on up toward that 200-day moving average in a big stretch on IWM. So one thing for sure is all four of our indexes at the moment are parabolic, but there's reason for it. It's not just a motion in the market. It's that we've got so many things, so many moving parts changing here. It's pretty hard to know what comes next here in the market. So just be prepared for about anything. If we were to take a look at our VIX here this morning, well, our VIX, I think, is going to have a major response here today and really push to the downside. We'll see in such a big stretch to the upside here, sometimes the VIX doesn't respond quite as strongly because of the fear that there could be some kind of a price whipsaw here in the market. So right now you can see this longer term upside trend. On Friday we were testing that area of support. With this big bullish move this morning, I would suspect that we could see the VIX dropping in here pretty substantially. So be prepared for that possibility. Of course, if the bears have anything to say, maybe we could just rest in here or maybe push a little bit higher if the bears decided to whipsaw the market here this morning. And we're still rising right now. Dow futures up 1,078 points here, continuing to stretch to the upside. If we take a look, and NASDAQ futures are up 847 points here this morning. If we take a look at our T20s, Our T2122 this morning is going to be pinned to the ceiling here this morning. No doubt about it. A big stretch here this morning will pin this up here at the ceiling. We have been hanging out here at this ceiling for a long time, and all of these news events creating lots and lots of volatility along with the earnings. So watch that carefully as we continue to stretch. I don't know how we're going to read this. We're due a substantial pullback in the market. I don't know. This celebration could go on for a little while, so hang on to your seat. Things could move pretty sharply here and could set us up for some really big pullbacks too. So be prepared for that as well. If we take a look at our T2108, I suspect our T2108 is going to surge today to the upside. We were showing that little bit of a hook right up here, that uncertainty going into the close on Friday, about 55% of the stocks above their 40-day. I suspect that is going to surge substantially today. Perhaps we could be up here testing resistance areas up in here around 70% in the chart. If the bears were to come back and fight back, and I don't know what they're going to fight with, but pushing back here, we've created some pretty good areas of price support for that as well if we were to fade back on the percentage of stocks above the 40-day moving average. T2107 is also likely going to surge substantially today. We closed Friday with that uncertainty in here on this move, about 30% of the stocks above their 200-day. This is going to make a big change here today, and I suspect we could be up here above 35%, maybe even pushing up here toward 40% or higher in T2107 on this big, huge move today. If the bears have anything else to say in here, then a pushback, we might find some support down in this area or a little bit lower, but I wouldn't expect that to be the case, at least this morning. Watch for those big whipsaws here today. And T2101, it'll be interesting to see what happens here with breadth of the market today. I suspect there's going to be such a bullish surge here. We'll see substantial breadth increase on that move. But what we have been seeing in all of this rally back up, we've been seeing the breadth of the market declining. So watch that carefully here. If we happen to get this big surge to the upside, but it's not followed by breadth, that could be a little bit of a problem here in suggesting a big whipsaw could be on the way. So watch carefully on that. Pretty hard to read any of these indicators with news events like this that are shifting us so much and so fast. So just buckle in and get ready for some volatility. If we take a look at our economic calendar here for today, well, our economic calendar, not a whole lot on there this morning to be too concerned about. As you can see, we've got Kugler that's going to be speaking here today. We've got a couple of bond auctions and a treasury statement here toward the end of the day. That's it on the economic calendar. As we look forward, however, we have some big things in here that could shake up the market as well. We've got a CPI number that will be coming in on Tuesday. We've got PPI numbers coming in on Thursday, along with retail sales, certainly a market moving number. Jerome Powell is going to be speaking here on Thursday as well. We got industrial production numbers, big day on Thursday of economic reports, sliding into the housing starts and permits coming in there on Friday. So be prepared for some volatility and maybe even some uncertainty coming into that CPI number tomorrow. Let's take a look at our earnings for today. Our earnings could be, an afterthought, essentially, on the earnings today. There's not the big name earnings here today coming in this morning. You can see we've got Dole in here this morning. Fox A is going to be reporting. We've got MAC and MNDY in here. Seadrill is reporting today, things like that. So yeah, keep an eye on this, but I think what we've got for earnings today really is going to be the afterthought on this news this morning that's got the market so inspired. So watch that carefully here today. Grab a screenshot of that if you are concerned about paying attention to those earnings reports this morning. Let's take a look at a few stocks that could be setting up for today. But before we do that, everyone, if you could do me that quick favor. If this is the first time you've seen these videos, well, please do me that favor and click that subscribe button on YouTube. Also click that bell icon when it pops up so you'll be notified every time I post a video. And if you find these videos to be useful or helpful, if you could do me that favor, and that would be kick in that, click that thumbs up button, leave a brief comment. That helps the channel about as much as anything, guys. Just that really brief comment. Remember, even an emoji counts as engagement with the video. So thank you so much for everyone who does take the time to do that. And I do try to answer those as much as possible and keep up on answering those comments. So thank you everyone who does do that. But I want to remind you today that it's possible I won't be able to get to everything that I would like to get to today, because I am doing a couple things today. First off, I'm covering for my partner who is doing a little bit of traveling today, and I am also doing an open house for Right Way Options. So if you have an interest, want to see what we do on a wild and crazy day like today, and I got to tell you, I'm not sure what we'll be able to do because of the big stretch here today. But that being said, come on over. Love to have you in the open house today. I will leave a link just below the title of the video this morning where you can come into our trading room for the entire day and well, ask all the questions you want. Good day for education, even though it may not be the greatest day to be buying stocks because of this zooming stretch. So watch that carefully here, and if you want to come on over, I'd love to see you there. Let's take a look at some of these stocks that could be setting up, but before we do that, remember everyone, these are not recommendations to buy or sell any security. You need to do your own due diligence. Be very, very careful in this market. And remember, the whipsaws here could be substantial, so plan your trades carefully. Let's take a look at some of these stocks setting up. Intel coming up out of this bottom, and I was mentioning this on Friday, would be something here to watch. If that would just kind of rest back here toward the trend. Of course, this morning, well, that's changing everything. We're going to see a lot of big gaps here this morning, adding substantial danger to any trade that you buy. But watch that carefully. Intel really turning around here off of that bottom. Take a look at Stone. Stone is setting up here. Maybe a little bit of stretch here this morning because of the news here today, but Stone is looking pretty good. I think you should keep an eye on that. WDC is gapping through the alert here that I had set on Friday for a potential upside. Keep an eye on Western Digital. That's looking good. Valero continues to stretch up after that alert in here. A couple of days already through that move. I wouldn't want to chase it, but any rest or pullback would set up an opportunity there in Valero. And unfortunately, I'm probably going to say that about a lot of stocks here this morning because of the stretch. Now, SHOP may be something to pay attention to. This was moving down, getting a big reversal here this morning. We'll be alerting here this morning, breaking the downtrend here. Shopify might be something to be paying attention to. Take a look at things like Kroger that are still setting up here, looking pretty good. Things like CF Industries trying to stretch through this downtrend, and this breakthrough resistance starting to look pretty good. That could be more of a Morningstar type pattern here today. If we take a look at some of our big techs, I would expect, even though Apple has been pretty bearish here, getting a big gap up to retest its downtrend here in the chart. Watch that carefully on this move. Micron getting a big stretch through to the upside. Again, pretty tough to chase these because your stop loss is going to be so far away here. The whipsaws could be dramatic. But that being said, showing a lot of strength there in Micron here this morning. That's going to be reporting, well, 625, it's already reported. So just kind of keep an eye on that. Now we've got NVIDIA that still is waiting to come up on its report. NVIDIA won't be reporting until 528, getting a big pop up here this morning. Might be worth paying attention to. We're going to see things in probably the oil market really surging. EQT has already been moving up, trying to break through resistance here in the chart. We're likely to see financials get a huge surge up here today. So everywhere we look in the market, guys, there could be an opportunity. Just be really careful, though, about chasing an already extended stock, which may make it very, very difficult here to do, well, your due diligence is going to be difficult this morning with such a big gapping move. If you're not already in something, it may be a little bit difficult to get in because of this big zooming move to the upside. And you know what? It really doesn't matter where we look. We're going to get these big stretch here. Zoom Mobile really turning up right now, stretching to the upside. Lots of bullishness in there. We're going to see probably, if you're looking for a little bit of bearishness, we're probably going to see some bearishness in the gold miners here today. Silver miner could be pulling back. Newmont getting a pullback here today. Those would be something to be paying attention to. But things like CPNG, big stretch here, going to push on through to the upside. DOCU breaking out here for a nice bullish move to the upside. Keep an eye on that. Kinder Morgan, nice pop here. Could be setting up with a Morningstar pattern here this morning. Ulta Beauty popping out of their box here, really pushing up here in a big stretch here this morning. Elf Beauty also was all set up for a move. Now we're going to stretch right on through and gap up so big it's going to be a little bit hard to buy it. So be careful there. PAYX, just everywhere you look, there's going to be a big stretch here this morning. The hard part is going to be determining what to hold, what to fold on, because a big stretch higher today might be a good reason to take some profits and walk away. But you know, big moves happening in the market today. So be very, very careful. Plan your trade carefully. Try not to take knee-jerk reaction trades. Take that just a few seconds it takes to plan the risk of that trade before diving headlong into these positions. So with that, everyone, hey, I want to wish you all a fantastic day. I want to wish you great results in your trading. Thanks so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. And I'll see you right back here bright and early Tuesday morning. But if you have the time, come on over. You can spend the day with us in the trading room, in the Right Way Options trading room. We'd love to have you there. Y'all take care. Be safe. See you back here first thing in the morning. Wish you all the very best.
Black and white candles, my stars in the dark. Price is my king, got that fire and spark. Rideways my ranch on the trader's trail. Trading with heart where the profits prevail.